Welcome to a new In the Mail, the series that will touch both your passion for electronics and your bank account at the same time. People seem to like this starting line, so I'll keep using it, and it's the truth anyway, so why not? First up, I have some wires. I think I mentioned this before, but a good source for decent priced, good quality silicone wires is hobbyking.com. They sell RC stuff and they have a great selection of silicone wires in different warehouses around the world. So you could get some shipped locally. I usually order from the European warehouse. This time I got some 16 AWG pink and black. Why not red and black, you might ask? Well, the pink and black combo was cheaper than the red and black, so why not? It's good enough for me. And some smaller ones. These are 24 AWG blue and yellow. Once again, it was cheaper to get them in these colors, and it works for me. And this is a twisted servo wire. These are 3 wires twisted in a bundle. They're 24 AWG, nice and soft with a decent amount of copper in there. So I will place a link in the description below if you're interested in getting some of these wires. My next item is this B7000 adhesive. I came across this a month ago when a friend asked me to repair a cracked smartphone screen. At the time I didn't have this glue. I used what I had around, but the results weren't that great. And after seeing this recommended by the guys who do phone repairs, I got myself a tube. It's supposed to be transparent, it's supposed to cure fast, it's elastic. Basically what you would need to secure a new screen assembly to the chassis of the phone. Of course, you can use this for other applications as well. Next up, an item that I've been waiting for a few months, and first I waited for it to go on sale, then I waited for it to be delivered, so quite a long wait, but I think it was worth, judging by what other people say about this. Is the Xiaomi Wiha screwdriver set, and on the back we have a list of the bits included in this set. So you get all the basic sets, you get the Phillips, the slotted, and you also get some of the more special bits that you need to open Apple products, and all of these for just $20. That's how much I paid for it on discount. I think it's very good value for money if these turn out to be Wiha quality. This looks like anodized aluminium. Pretty nice. All the info is in Chinese because I believe this was only designed for the Chinese market. So I'm guessing you're not supposed to use these for electrical work. You need to be careful around children. And this could be the maximum torque for this screwdriver, 2 Newton meters. This is nice. This looks like it's spring loaded. Very nice construction. And this anodized aluminum looks very nice. But look at this message right here. Warning, disconnect power before using. What power are they talking about? Doesn't look like you could power these. This handle also has the same anodized aluminum filling, and it's pretty light. This just spins very nice in here, but I would have loved to see this end cap being just a bit enlarged for better stability in your palm. Like you see these Junior screwdrivers that I have. They have this enlarged section that fits very nice in your hand. This one is, I guess they wanted a slim design, but it just doesn't offer the same support in your hand. But this one spins very, very nice. I'm not sure if there's a ball bearing in there. There might be. There doesn't seem to be any play in this end cap. It's very tight and it spins very, very nice in there. Let's check out these bits. Yeah, the frame is magnetic, so as you can see the bits stick to their corresponding spot, so there is very little chance of these falling off. And the magnetic on the screwdriver as well. Let me give you a close-up of one of these bits so you can check out the quality on these. Yes, so I would say they look pretty nice. Certainly better than any other Chinese made screwdriver set that I have around here. So I'm pretty happy for what I paid. This is certainly worth $20. But I still don't understand why they're saying warning, disconnect power before using. This, I must admit, this kind of looks like a power bank enclosure. So could they be reusing this from another product? I'm not sure. Oh, it just hit me now. Like, I think they mean disconnect power before using, like disconnect power from the equipment you are working on before using, because this is not designed to be used for any kind of electrical work. Because you have the metal body, the metal bits, so they will carry current. So I think that's what they mean. Disconnect power from the equipment you are working on or the circuit you are working on, just to avoid any electrical shock. Yeah, so it totally makes sense now. So I pretty much recommend anyone getting one of these. I think you will not be disappointed with the quality of this screwdriver. I'm not such an expert on expensive and good quality tools, especially on Wiha tools. This is the first Wiha tool that I have, so I'm not sure how it compares to the original Wiha stuff, but to my standards this is pretty good quality and it's certainly worth the $20 that I paid for it. My next item might look strange at first, but it's a selfie LED lamp. So the idea is to clip this on your phone like this. The camera would go through this slot and it will allow you to take better selfies. It's a ring light, so it will light up the subject evenly. But the reason I got it is because sometimes when shooting these videos and I want to get close to an object, since my phone is fixed, I bring the object closer to the phone camera. The problem is the light. When I get close to the phone, I don't get enough light on the subject to read the numbers on a chip, for example. So this might help me get better videos. This model works with a couple of AAA batteries, which I have already installed in there. But I have seen a model that has built-in rechargeable battery and a micro USB for charging. It has 3 different intensities, which are selectable with this switch right here. And I think the camera auto balances this, so it's not really visible, but there are 3 different intensity modes. And if you keep the button pressed for longer, it has this strobe mode. Let me show you that. so the light will just strobe. I'm not sure how this will help with your selfies, but anyway, this was fairly cheap, around $3 with free shipping. So I said, why not? Let's give it a try and see if it improves the video quality. My next item is a simple 10K NTC. This is used for measuring temperature. However, this one has one of these tabs for screw mounting, and that's useful if you plan to attach the thermocouple to a heatsink or any object for that matter. You can imagine it's much easier to have this mounting tab and just screw on the thermistor to your power MOSFET or the heatsink instead of messing around with additional clips or Celastic. For comparison, here is the classical shape of these thermistors. This is the cylindrical type, and it's much harder to attach this one to a heatsink. These, I think, are designed to be embedded into something, a liquid or something like that. And these days you can find different thermistors on eBay, and they're pretty cheap, so you can give them a try without breaking the bank. Next up, I have some screws. These are hex head M3 screws in two different lengths. I have some which are 10mm long and some which are 12mm long. It's always nice to have a selection of M3 screws available in the shop. I like the hex ones because I think they look a little better on a front panel or even inside an enclosure. It gives it that professional look at the expense of having to search for the proper screwdriver when you need to access them. Once again, it's pretty cheap to get these on eBay, and if you have one of these slotted storage bins, you can easily get different types of screws and organize them. I'm gonna have to move these to a bigger storage box because this one is filled. Next, I have a couple of LCD TFT modules. This one is a 2-inch model, 176 by 220 pixels, and this blue PCB one is 1.44 inch, 128 by 128 pixel. And I'm just trying to find the best option for a front panel display in terms of physical size, resolution, cost, viewing angles, contrast. I just want it to look good, so I need to take a look at all of these factors. That's why I'm getting different options just to check them out and see how they look. TFT displays like these are very cheap these days. If you buy them in bulk, you can probably get them for $2 a piece, maybe less. They're not super high quality and they don't have the nice contrast levels that you can get on a OLED display, but you can get them in a lot of different sizes and resolutions at a better price than the OLEDs. Next, I have the HX711 24-bit ADC designed for load cell applications. I think I first saw this chip on Andre's channel when he built a circuit using some load cells. So I ordered one with two things in mind. First, can we use this simple ADC for anything else than load cells? And second, to have it available if I ever need to play with a load cell. After checking the datasheet, I got the answer to my question, and it would not be easy to use it for anything else because you got the differential input range, which is only plus or minus 0.5 volts, and the common mode input, which needs to be within a certain rather restrictive area. So that limits the application field for this chip a lot. I won't be using this to measure anything else anytime soon. But for a load cell application, this will do the job just fine and at a very low cost. The next item is this 16-bit ADC module based on the TM7705 chip manufactured by Titan Micro. The name might sound familiar because it's a clone of the AD7705 made by Analog Devices. I think the intention was to have a fully compatible clone of the chip at a lower cost, but unfortunately I'm pretty sure they're not the same quality and the clone will not meet the specs of the Analog Devices part. Even on the digital interface, I've been reading on the forums that a library written for the AD7705 will not work completely with the TM7705. So I think the digital interface doesn't exactly follow the same specs, maybe at least in terms of timing. But it is not impossible to get it working. People have successfully used this ADC, but if you really need a reliable 16-bit ADC, I suggest you get the genuine AD7705. If you just want to do some experiments with a 16-bit ADC like myself and see what kind of results you can get on your measurements, then it might be okay to get this one. As always, links for all the items are placed in the description of this video. To show you the next item, I am using the ring light I showed earlier. You can almost see the reflection of the LEDs on the surface of this PCB. So this is a Wemos SAM D21 mini board. This board uses the Atmel SAM D21 Cortex M0 ARM microcontroller. Well, I should say microchip instead of Atmel, so it's a small development board, but it's quite capable due to the M0 microcontroller, which can go up to 48 MHz, and depending on the version, it can go up to 256K of flash memory and 32K of SRAM memory, while being a low power microcontroller at the same time. However, I am not sure if this board comes loaded with any bootloader so that you could easily upload code without needing a programmer. In fact, let me pause for a second and connect it to my computer and see if anything comes up. So I've connected it to my Windows machine, and it was detected and installed automatically as an Arduino 0. So yep, it has a bootloader and you can start programming on this without needing additional tools. And that's really a must these days. Development boards must have built-in bootloaders or serial communications devices to allow you to program them without needing any external tools. In the mail I showed some red butt splice connectors, the type with heat shrink that make the splice waterproof. I had on order some of the blue ones as well, which are for the thicker gauge wires. They arrived a bit later, but here they are, and they are basically the same, just for thicker gauge wires, and I will just place them in this organizer box, and I'll have them ready for my next electrical work. Next I got some JST SH connectors with cables and the mating board mount connectors. The SH version means they're 1mm pitch. I have a set with 3 pins and a set with 6 pins. These are great to use when you are space constrained. You get signals on and off a board with a very small area. I will be using a few of these for my RC projects to connect stuff to a fly controller board, and I'll keep the rest in my bag of JST connectors because I'm starting to use these instead of 0.1 inch headers. Whenever I design a small board, it's just not feasible to use a 0.1 inch header. For example, here is a 6-pin 0.1 inch header, would take this much space, while this JST connector would take half of that space for the same number of connections. I know 0.1 inch is easy to use, cheap to get, everyone has 0.1 inch headers around, but sometimes you need to go down to these small JST connectors. Next up I have a very expensive sensor module coming from China, probably the most expensive sensor that I have ever purchased, and I don't even have a project in mind for this. I just thought it's interesting. So it's the MS5837 breakout board, which is a high resolution pressure sensor in a watertight package. This means we can use the sensor to determine water depth, and I'm thinking if I couple this to the bottom of a water tank, maybe with a 2 or 3 millimeter silicone hose, by measuring the pressure of the water sitting on top of the sensor, I can calculate the depth or the water volume left in that tank, which is a pretty cool application. However, it's pretty expensive. I got this from Banggood for about $30, and you know me, the majority of sensors and breakout boards that I show on these videos are under $10. But this looked interesting, and I got one. Here is the first page of the datasheet. Looks like it has a 24-bit Sigma Delta ADC. That's where it gets its high resolution capability, and also features factory calibration and the I2C interface, which should make it very easy to interface with a microcontroller. I'm just hoping the price will go down soon to make this accessible to more hobbyists, and I'm sure we'll see some interesting projects with this sensor being used. And our last item in today's video is this chunky relay. It's a Yongchuan brand, which some might say it's a Wanhanglo brand, and it certainly sounds like, and I would agree entirely on that, but I needed a cheap high current relay, and since the good brands are very expensive once you go past 30 amps, I had to resort to buying this Chinese version. It's 120 amps rated relay with a 12 volts coil voltage, although it's specified as 14 volts in here. I plan to use this whenever I need to switch high currents, like for testing fuses. I like how it has these massive screw terminals to which I could connect some thick wires to carry the high current. And the relay was under $6 on eBay. Since I will be using it only occasionally, I don't need it to last a lifetime. Just a few thousand cycles will be more than enough for my needs, so I'll be happy if I can get that from this relay. That was all for today. You can find links in the description for all the items shown in this video. These are affiliate links, so if you make a purchase after clicking those links, I will be receiving a commission from the seller. It's the best way of supporting this channel right now. As always, thank you for watching this video, and don't forget to hit the like button. See you soon!